And now it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here, right next to the Fisherman's Landing, right here in San Diego. We have a great show for you today. From the Royal Star, Captains Tim and Alex are here, and we're going to be talking some fishing here and some stuff happening, so you stay tuned. This is Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
One of the dream trips for most anglers is Alaska. There are so many lodges. How do you make a choice? It's easy. Choose the one most Let's Talk Hookup listeners return to time after time. Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. No one does it better than Kingfisher Charters. They offer the best service, the most comfortable accommodations, fantastic food, and the finest charter captains in Sitka. All for the ultimate value. One visit and you will understand why nobody beats Kingfisher Charters. Sitka is famous for some of the best runs of salmon in Alaska. And if giant Alaskan halibut is your target, the expert captains at Kingfisher Charters know the hot spots and can put you on a fish of a lifetime. Plenty of rockfish and huge lingcod are there too. And when it comes to fish processing, the best in Alaska is Kingfisher Charters. It's all included in your package. In fact, everything is included except tips. It is truly amazing how the Kingfisher crew continues the quality of service they deliver year after year. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136, or check kingfishercharters.com.
Here's John Ireland for Rancho Leonero.
Rancho Leonero was awarded the Certificate of Excellence from TripAdvisor for 4 straight years. Especially interesting, most hotels are just hotels, and most people stay in the hotel and go do their activities elsewhere. Rancho Leonero, of course, provides fishing, diving, all activities, all meals, your whole vacation. So the fact that we're so highly rated, we're very proud of it. From picking you up at the airport to dropping you off, literally everything is turnkey from there. We make it as easy as we can for you at the ranch. From your meals to whether you're going to go fishing or diving or just hang out by the pool. When you're coming to Rancho Leonero, you are coming to John Ireland's home. I guarantee the best fishing vacation experience in all of Baja. That's unique. There's nowhere that I could think of to get the same experience that you get at Rancho Leonero. Our new reservation phone number is 800-646-2252, 646-BAJA, and rancholeonero.com. It's really unique. It is. We're very proud of it.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know, CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, man. Feels good to be back in here. It's been a little bit, man.
You were at the PCS show last week.
Yeah,
that's the wrong one.
Having Tim and Alex in here, man. This is going to be a fun day. Lots to talk about right now.
Yeah, it's fun. Good morning, Tim.
Morning.
Hey, and I'm going to let you introduce your new partner here, new to Let's Talk Hookup, but certainly not new to the Royal Star.
Exactly, not new to the Royal Star, not new to fishing. Alex has been around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
We actually, we had our eye on Alex for a long time as a potential candidate to join our ownership team on Royal Star. He was busy gallivanting around the coast of Mexico, Costa Rica, running the Apollo, and he did just a fantastic job. Really got a lot of experience down there. I'll let him talk about it, but the Vallarta fishery, fishing big fish, big yellowfin. He's just chalked up a really impressive list of accomplishments, and his fishing exploits spoke volumes about his ability to professionally handle, because guy down there and pretty much did it on his own, handling all the nuances of learning a new fishery, dealing with all the foreign officials going in and out of different ports. And, he's really got a lot of experience. So, and I personally never heard a bad thing about him as far as being a good guy. You know what I mean? With the number of
so he doesn't fit perfect in the ownership team then.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only outlier.
That's exactly right. Yeah, he's too perfect. Yeah, exactly.
Well, welcome, Alex.
Yeah.
Stoked,
Hey,
man.
great to have you.
Congratulations.
So, how long you been with Royal Star?
Last year was my first season.
Yeah, get right up on that mic. Your first season. And what was that like working with the team over there with the Gerby and Tim and all the gang over there?
It's very professional for sure.
Yeah.
I never thought fishing could be so professional.
Yeah. And you were with the Apollo for how many years?
I was there for 6 years.
6 years. And you saw, like Tim said, a lot of country, right? Costa Rica,
Yeah,
Puerto Vallarta.
we went everywhere. My first few years on there, we fished Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. Big yellowfin fishing, trophy hunting type thing. And my last season on the boat, we were fortunate to go down there to Costa Rica, check out that new fishery down there.
And what was that like?
It was different.
Yeah.
A lot of figuring out. We didn't really have any contacts down there.
Yeah.
So, try and figure it out. By the end, 4 or 5 months later, we figured it out. It was good fishing.
That just reminds me of the, you rewind the clock, however long that's been now in Royal Star in the old times. It was like you guys, that was like a thing that you guys would explore a new fishery. I remember you going down to Panama and you guys did, the fishing outside of Mazatlan, and it's like, you just seem like such the perfect fit. Like the previous career to you is so much kind of the path that the Royal Star has followed over the years.
Right.
Yeah. So now you're part of the ownership team. You're owner operator, right?
I am.
Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And what's that like having another partner there, Tim?
It's very, very rewarding. It's provided an awful lot of stability. Obviously, I'm always thinking about the future, long term,
Sure.
and that's really what we're looking to set in place. I mean, Randy he's backed off as far as running the boat goes. He's still a major part of our operation from a maintenance standpoint. Shoreside support, the like, but he's busy with all his local fisheries here between lobster and the like. So he's wanted to pull back as far as running the boat for a long, long time. Enter Alex and a great opportunity, and it's just, again, the perfect fit. And for what we see looking forward, not just this year, next year, but 5 years, 10 years, Alex is the the heir apparent.
The young superstar.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
with all of the tools and all the ability, and it's a really good thing. There seems to be, of late, there's somewhat of a dearth of really excellent people that are available that still have the drive, still have the ability to fish long range. It's a changing world. So again,
it is. Yeah.
To have somebody who's as capable as Alex join the ownership team, and for me, it's a great it's a great insurance policy that sets our operation on solid footing and keeps us on the footing that we started back in 1996. I'm 100% confident in that.
What kind of skills you bring to the Royal Star? Just out of curiosity. I mean, obviously your fishing abilities are unprecedented because you spend a lot of time. What I mean, maintenance, et cetera. I mean, are you a full faceted owner there?
I had to be. On that Apollo, I pretty much ran the show. Jody was around, obviously, but when it comes to mechanical things, I was very involved. I was fortunate enough to learn from guys like our mechanics and whatnot, learning their noses, and a lot of experience over the years. Just things breaking, obviously, and you got to learn how to fix it.
Yeah,
especially in a foreign port like that. It's not like you can just run to Marine Exchange and grab whatever. Like you got to know your machinery.
Right, exactly.
No kidding.
And the other thing too, you can tell within 5 minutes of meeting Alex, like the type of people person that he is. You know what I mean? Like clearly, and that's a big part of this job too. Everybody likes coming and fishing, and you can just tell some people have the skill to be a great person to be around, and other ones are just great fishermen, and it's not always easy to find somebody that's obviously good at both.
I can tell you something. To your point, and this has been echoed by everybody that's been on a trip that Alex is either on as a chief engineer or running the boat, which he. I think he ran 10 or 12 trips last year, maybe more, and is obviously in the queue to run a lot more this year. It's one of those things where he's got it.
Yeah,
he's got the whole thing. There's not even a shred of question, doubt. Cool. I mean, the first time I think you were on the boat not very long when he ran his first trip on there last year, and I just had this huge smile of confidence when the boat drove away, because you just know,
got it.
You know what I mean? And seeing all the different operators over the years, and obviously we've brought a lot of guys up through the ranks where we never send anybody out unprepared. You guys know that. That boat's our baby and our life and livelihood, everything. We wouldn't put anybody in command who doesn't have the ability, but there's been a few guys, it's their first trip. You're doing a little hand wringing, like, hope everything goes good. It's like,
have a good time, have a good trip.
Like, I'd say,
bring her back.
I'd say don't have any fingernails, but Randy doesn't anyway. But I mean, sending Alex out there, he untied the lines, and it's like, I slept like a baby, I mean, he's got it because he's got so much experience, and going back to the whole mechanical thing, which is a big part of it. You have to have that. I mean, no matter what, the buck stops at the top, and things are going to happen that have the potential of unwinding a trip, and that's really where it's at. I mean, we don't have very many mechanical failures that are catastrophic that end a trip, but there's a lot of little things that happen.
It's mechanical. It's
and
a boat.
It has, of course. But it has the ability to impact the trajectory of the trip. It can unwind a crew or a fishing strategy. But, the guys who are professionals at this, you fix it, you figure it out, you do a temporary and you move on. You keep your eye on the ball, and that's where experience really pays big dividends for everybody that's fishing. It's obviously a huge investment. It's a huge investment in time and effort that everybody, all the anglers that are coming out fishing with us, it's their vacation. So, it takes a full, well-rounded professional in order to keep that thing on the rails. And, like I said, this is the guy. I could go on and on. My accolades for Alex, but I'm just stoked. This is our first. Our first year was incredible with him as part of our team. Now he's full-fledged owner of the boat, and I see many more good years and things to come.
So what's going to be the division? So it's going to be you, Captain Brian Sims, and Alex kind of run the boat. Are you guys going to equally go out together? How's that going to work?
Well, I make up the schedule, usually write it out like 3, 4, 5 months in advance. We all get our heads together. Whether there's things in life, guys know my kids are athletes, so there's certain things.
During baseball season, you got.
I know we got that coming up. There's a lot of times when I want to take a block here or there, so we try to plan it out. But there's nothing really set in stone in advance. Maybe some charters that I've got a long time relationship with. I'll run the boat, but the primary thing is we have to have obviously a combination of at least 2 of us with licenses and that mechanical experience between Alex and I and Gerb, Brian Sims, and Jake Kurtzman, our other chief, also licensed guy. There's a combination of at least 2 of us on every trip.
Sure.
So, everything else just kind of shakes out. I try to mix it up, make sure that everybody gets.
Either way, whenever you're riding the Royal Star, you're going to have an A team.
Well, and that's the way. Again, how long have we been sitting here in front of the mic talking about exactly that? That is what. The one thing we absolutely guarantee on every single Royal Star trip is that your trip is going to be run by a experienced professional who has a vested interest in the outcome of your trip, because you got an owner behind the helm.
Yeah.
And that
that's awesome.
I can speak from a lot of years of experience. That carries a lot of weight as far as consistent results go.
So you guys are in the yard right now. See the boat over there, and been doing some work. What's been going on?
We've had a long maintenance period this year. We had about an extra month. We were going to do a big project that we took advantage. We ended up not doing what we originally planned to, but we took advantage of the time to do a bunch of stuff that just those little things that you just. It's the want to and the need to list.
The ones you never really have time for.
Right. But mechanically, the boat's sound. We rebuilt one of our generators. We're doing a bunch of cosmetic work this year, a lot in the interior, new flooring, new wall covering in places, new upholstery in the galley, cosmetic stuff that everybody's going to notice. We did a big cosmetic thing last year outside, so we've got that on hold. We've got some improvements in electronics in the bridge, lighting, just a lot of little stuff that is going to be very noticeable. It's going to make a better boat of it, which, that's the goal. Your boat's getting better all the time or it's getting worse.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Yeah, for sure. That's cool. And when do you go back in the water?
Monday, it looks like.
Monday?
Yeah, Monday.
Okay.
We're ready to go. We didn't find, this was a quick, what do they call it, trim and a shave, this year. Just pull it out and do the bottom and the basic stuff and put her back in, and away we go. We're ready to run here pretty soon. We got to get some.
You're running in. April 3rd.
March 31st is our first trip.
Oh, wow. It's already sold out.
Yeah, we actually have one on the schedule before that. Larry Brown, we've got one of those impromptu trips just with his group that we're going to throw in there, kind of game the weather and see what comes up between like the 24th and the 28th. We're going to run one in there in that time frame. So, yeah.
I thought that was such a cool idea. Something different, and, it's early season, so, hey, just prepare to have this amount of time off, and we'll pick somewhere within that time that the weather looks right and the opportunity looks right, and just be ready for it, and we'll go when it's the best.
Yeah, it's great.
I thought that was such a cool idea.
Larry's got a great group for it. That's what we do. We block off a week, and we're going to game the weather, wherever the best weather in that time frame is, and we have time, and if the weather isn't good, those guys they're cool with that too. They'll wait for that window. But
I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a good one. And then, but the first available spots, which there aren't very many. April 3rd through the 5th, a 2-day trip, has 2 spots left on it. Right.
Right.
Yeah, and then April 5th through the 7th, a day and a half, has some spots left on it. And then April 7 through 10, a 3-day trip that has 3 spots on it. And that's it for the season, right?
That's what it says.
Yeah, that's what Tracy sent me that. And I was like, what?
Yeah. We've got a great year stacked up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We've got a great schedule lined up for these. We did some switched over and put more of these shorter trips in early, which I'm really stoked about. Obviously we want to take advantage of this bluefin thing, which, I know we've had a really different weather pattern this year.
Super different.
Wet year, but there's bluefin out there. I know it right now. If you lay out a water chart on a clear day, and Alex and I and all of us that have been doing this forever, we can look at it and go, they're going to be there. Yeah. And I'd say the odds are about 99% right now that we're going to be able to track them down. So I feel pretty good about it. Some of the guys are getting out early. Some of the guys are getting out at the end of next week. Yep. And I know working with SAC and the airplane, we're going to get an airplane up and have them flying regularly. So we're going to try to get on this fish early and start making hay while the sun's shining. And I think that bodes well for these trips that have limited availability.
Yeah, those April trips are going to get gobbled up. The second, whoever,
Well, you better gobble them up before that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, if you wait until the first guy goes out and makes a catch, the next day, all of those spots are going to be gone.
Yeah. So, Alex, April last year, as a lot of us know, was probably the best month of the year, right?
It was great.
Yeah, it was phenomenal bluefin fishing. Was it sight fishing? Was it on the surface? Was it nighttime? What was it?
It was mostly nighttime last year.
Yeah.
Beginning of the season there, guys got done a couple hours.
In
a couple hours.
Whoa.
It was that good of fishing, So,
wow. Is that because there just wasn't any pressure on it, or is just the volume of fish was around?
I think a little bit of both. I want to say a little bit of both.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of fish around. You get on right school and get it done in one-stop shop kind of thing.
And it was close, too, right?
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
So that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So what do you think, this year?
I want to say so.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of fish around right now. There's a bunch of traffic, whether it's long-range boats going up and down the coast or your private yachts and whatnot. There's fish around. We feel pretty confident.
Yeah. It's looking good.
The amazing thing about that, and we've seen this pattern in the last 5-6 years even, but especially the last 3-4 years, that early season fish, you don't see a lot of bait around then. You see a lot of fish, you don't see a lot of bait. And you know how when we get into that June, when all of a sudden all that anchovy shows up, and it's not a volume thing. I mean, look at June last year. I mean, have you ever seen more bluefin in your life? I mean, it's the most unbelievable thing. And we went through that weird period of a couple of weeks where you couldn't catch one to save your life, and there's just gigantic foamers everywhere. Seems like that early season fish, either that bait's not in though, or they're not on that bait. And that fish is much more vulnerable to the
I like it like that.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So once the bait starts moving in, then they're getting full.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or they just, I'm not so sure it's that they're full. It's just that they just change their feeding pattern.
Oh, okay.
They get
something changes.
They get into that big foamer mode, and it's hard to catch those things when they're in that mode.
Yeah.
Not for you skiff guys.
But I was going to say, it's hard to catch 30 of them. You catch them one at a time. It's just fine.
It's okay.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah. Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for you today. A lot to talk about with Tim and Alex.
Oh, man, going to be a great show. So much to cover, too, from this bluefin fishing now and all the big fish they done and just everything about the Star. It's going to be a great show. We want to have you join us this morning. If you want to be a part of Let's Talk Hookup, give us a call at 213-432-1090. Again, 213-432-1090 is how you reach us on the phone, or you can send us a text. We've been talking about it, man. The text the show option is just so popular anymore on Let's Talk Hookup. So many great texts come through. If you want to fire off a text for Alex or for Tim, it's only available through the Let's Talk Hookup app. That's a free download, super easy to find, and it's a great way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup. You can catch us 24/7. You can listen to all the archive shows, and it's the only way to text in your question to the show. Make sure, too, that you include your contact info with that text, because if you win the big prize at the end of the show, we need to make sure to get it to you. And what a prize we are giving away today. Not only are you going to get your opportunities to talk to Tim and talk to Alex, you're also going to get a shot at winning a full-day trip on board the Liberty at a Fisherman's Landing. A great opportunity, and what good timing with those guys starting the season off with some good yellowtail yo-yo jig fishing down around the island. So the local Liberty yellowtail season is on, and one lucky caller or texter is going to get to go fishing with Taro and the boys there. A great, great prize. Hey, when we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls, reading your texts. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
This is Pete, and I hear it all the time. That Jim and Mary at Poway Valley Collision are amazing. I took my car to Poway Valley Collision, mentioned Let's Talk Hookup, and they gave us VIP treatment, fixed our car, and even gave us a special price. Believe me when I say Poway Valley Collision is worth the drive from anywhere in the Southland. At some point, your car will need a body repair, and I'm confident in saying it pays to go to Poway Valley Collision. Our listeners can save hundreds of dollars on your next car or truck repair. They work with most insurance companies, including Auto Club, MetLife, Wawanesa, and more. All you do is call Jim, Mary, or any of their team members, and they do all the rest. No hassles, just top-notch work and VIP treatment. When you take your car or truck to Poway Valley Collision, the job and experience will be top-notch. Get it fixed right at Poway Valley Collision, 14211 Garden Road in Poway. Check PowayValleyCollision.com.
Let's talk candidly about long-range fishing. This is Captain Frank DePresti of the Royal Polaris and the Shogun. Nowhere on earth will you find a fleet of long-range boats like we have in San Diego. We are fortunate to have several top-notch operations to take you to the most productive fishing grounds in the world. We all offer good food, comfortable staterooms, huge bait capacity, and top-of-the-line fish-finding electronics. So why would you choose the Royal Polaris or the Shogun for your next long-range trip? What sets us apart from the rest? It's pretty simple. The boats, the crew, and the service. From the moment you arrive at Fisherman's Landing, the service begins. We help you load your gear and do everything possible to get beginners or seasoned veterans ready to catch fish. When it's time to fish, the Royal Polaris and the Shogun have the edge there too, delivering the two best fishing platforms in the fleet. But don't take my word for it. Come fishing with us. If you want the best, it's Royal Polaris and the Shogun. For more information, call 619-226-8030 or on the web at RoyalPolarisSportFishing.com or ShogunSportFishing.com.
Hey, this This is Rosie with Cedros Sport Fishing. We have always been the leader in fishing trips to Cedros Island. We have set the bar even higher with our second lodge opening for the 2022 season. Side-by-side lodges sitting on the cliff's edge with relaxing ocean views. With direct flights departing through the CBX in San Diego, we are committed to providing first-class service to our guests and an unforgettable fishing experience. Come check out the yellowtail and calico bass capital in the world. Nobody does it better than Cedros Sport Fishing. Call me at 619-772-7570 or check us out at cedrosportfishing.com.
Day at the Docks is back, and Fisherman's Landing Tackle will have our largest booth ever. Hi, this is Doug Kern. Both in the shop and out in the parking lot, we will feature our huge inventory of rods, reels, lures, clothing, and more, all on sale. The fishing season is almost here, so take advantage of our inventory and our sale prices while you can. Plus, our expert staff at Fisherman's Landing Tackle will help you get all the right stuff. Day at the Docks and Fisherman's Landing Tackle. Take advantage of all the great deals Sunday, April 19th.
Dave Brown here from Okuma Fishing Tackle. Be sure to stop by our booth at the Bard Hall shows to check out the hottest new gear for bluefin fishing, like the new Tesoro and Selena spinning reels, as well as put your hands on the new BioFlyer from Fish Lab. See you there.
It's a whale of a show.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Well, that sure didn't take long, man. Every phone line is packed solid. It's going to be a great show. Busy morning again. If you do want to get through, it's 213-432-1090. Always so popular when the boys from the Star are here.
Yeah, for sure. Especially first time for Alex, and hopefully many more to come, for sure.
No doubt.
If we can get you off the boat.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let's go ahead and jump on the phones, Rick.
You got it, man. Well, the phones are packed up, and we're going to get started this morning with Ryan. Ryan's calling us from Irvine this morning. What's up, Ryan? Thanks for getting us started here on Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, gentlemen, and nice to hear you. Nice to hear your voices, captains. My question is that my father fished long range back in the late 80s and 90s, and he used to tell me that it was nearly unheard of to hear the very first trips to go out that are 3 days and day and a half. And I want to ask that how did bluefin fishing for tuna close to home has changed the game for long range sport fishing?
I can start off. I think you're looking at it, and that with this bluefin available, and the fact that it's vulnerable to, especially these nighttime methods, the need to run down there. And you're right, by the way. All of the early season trips, if once the long trip season ended, we would always run 8 days to start off with. It was always spring 8 days, and we even ran them in April, and generally fishing the Ridge, Alejos Rocks, somewhere along the coast on the way up, but with the availability of this bluefin, and that's, it's ocean phenomena. I don't know why, this bluefin is available as it is now and has been for the last 6-7 years. 10 years have been a huge change or shift, because we used to see that bluefin down below there. I mean, we would see big schools of bluefin above the Ridge, in between Benitez and the Ridge, even between Alejos Rocks and the beach. But the short answer is there's no need to go down there on an 8 day when you have a giant biomass of fish that are available right here that are better size, and thank goodness for it. I mean, I'd rather be fishing than traveling.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Just saying.
Oh yeah, ocean cycles, right? It's
Absolutely.
just a cycle. And what's cool about it is, like, you and a lot of the other sport boats have and long range boats have adjusted their schedules to match the fishery, right? Like, for example, Royal Star, 8 day trips. Now you're doing 2 day, 3 day, day and a half trips, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Never did those before.
No, not this early.
Yeah.
I mean, just a few, like early season. When we get into maybe towards the end of May, we would throw them in there, 3 days and the like. But again, the fish wasn't available. The number one rule of thumb when you're fishing is not to get locked into a pattern, because you'll inevitably miss something. And this is the perfect example. Why would you drive by the best fishing we've ever seen ever? And what we really love, we love to catch everything. We're fishermen, but that generally the size class of that bluefin, it is the premier game fish available to, especially the Southern California style fishing and angler. That's it. That's the apex, and it's right here in our backyard. So why the heck drive by it?
And day and a half and 2 days and 3 days give an opportunity for a lot of people that have never got to experience what the Royal Star offers, that opportunity. There's new trips on the schedule, so they don't have, some of the, old time charter, you talked about, Tim, like, this group's been there forever. Like, some of those trips are they're not easy to get onto, and it's just going to give opportunity, us as anglers, an opportunity to see the level of service that the Royal Star provides, the level of food, just everything, the fishing. And, there's a lot of new opportunities to ride the boat that didn't exist before.
No question about it. Yeah, for sure. Hey, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning with some great text pouring in.
I got
right?
a question for Alex.
Yeah.
It made me think about it. During the break, we were talking about bluefin and nighttime and things like that. Do you think, going back 10 years ago or 15 years ago when we weren't stopping on every school at nighttime and you're driving a wheel watch because you're going from A to B and you just write down there was a school here, there was a school there, there's a school there, and then the next morning you run back up and try to get on if we had been doing what we're doing now, however long ago, has that fish always been available for us? Nighttime, jig dropping, things like that? Are the fish just in a different mode now? Or do you think we could have always been doing this and having a level of success like we're seeing now?
Tim and I talked about that. These fish, we would see it at night, driving around. Given we didn't always look around for fish, kind of just, in a drift, right? We just shut down at dark. And as we're drifting along, you see the schools come by and they'll stick around for hours at times, looking at the screen. But we never gave it a try. Yeah. We never gave it an honest try.
Never gave it its fair shake.
Right. But we did catch a couple. You think about guys doing deep drops in the middle of the night. Guys on watch. Try to catch an Escalar or something. Right. End up catching a bluefin. So I think the opportunity was always there. I want to say that it was always there. But we just never had to do it, I guess.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Well, great text here from Rich in Long Beach. And Rich wants to know, good morning, Pete, Rick, Tim, and Alex. My question is for Alex. Where did you grow up and develop your love for fishing? Also, who has been your mentor as a professional skipper?
It started in Long Beach. I started Pier Point Landing. I worked on a half-day boat in the Southern Cal, and that's pretty much where I started. I was like 11 or 12 years old when I started working. So, awesome. And in terms of growing up, mentoring, I came down to San Diego when I was 17 or so. I worked for Bradley Phillips. That's where I started fishing. On the first string.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. And then went from there to where?
From there, I took a couple years off, went commercial fishing, and I came back to on Apollo.
Okay.
For a few years there, and then now I'm here.
Here we are.
Look at that.
That's
rad. This is and now you're an owner, so you're in your home now.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Sure.
I thought this another great text came through. This one was from our buddy Gary White in Lawndale. So good morning, everybody, and especially Tim and Alex. Thanks for all the work that you guys do with SAC, and then also your innovations in fish processing and fish care. My favorite trip on Royal Star is a 10-day trip. Can you talk about some of the fishing options that exist on 10 days for this year?
Well, the beauty of these 10 days, we're going to talk about this bluefin thing again, how it plays into the big picture. The last 3 or 4 years, these 10-day trips, that's been an option also.
Yeah.
Either on, I know a couple of years ago, I remember Gerby, he started an 11-day on bluefin and just railed those 120 to 170 pounders, 200 pounders. They just, they had incredible fishing the first 2 or 3 days. Bailed, went to Aleos Rocks, had a great, I think they had 70 wahoo at Aleos Rocks.
Jeez.
They had a bunch of Dorado. They went into the Ridge. They had a bunch of this. They were fish bound in short order. But that is just a demonstration of, or an example of how incredible the opportunities of variety are on those trips. It's really what they're about. Those are the ultimate.
Catch a lot of different species.
The ultimate variety trip. A lot of different species, a lot of ground covered. If you want or need to, you can expand down below Mag Bay onto those lower banks. It's really a great opportunity to mix and match, which to me is what the ideal long range trip is about. It's the ability to do a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Experience different kinds of fishing, different fisheries, different scenery, all throughout the course of your trip. That to me, that builds the perfect long range experience. So at that time of year, the fall, the door is basically open for everything. That's the overarching point. You could be fishing up here, you could be fishing, midway down the beach, you could be fishing all the way down as far as Cabo San Lucas on a 10-day trip, just depending on what the opportunities are when you leave the dock and how the trip unfolds.
I like what you said too. You're just not hung up on a destination. If the best fishing is at 50 miles, you're going to be at 50 miles, and you don't book a trip just because you want to go to Aleos Rocks. Like you're gonna go to where the best opportunity is for all of us to catch fish.
That's right, and we have just an incredible suite of options and resources that we rely upon, not just technologically, speaking with all the temperature charts and the like, but our resources that are on the water. We're in contact with anybody and everybody who can help us find fish, catch fish, build a trip around what the opportunities are. And that goes for all of us in the long range business. We all work together. It's not we're competitive, of course. We always want to be better than the other guy, but you have to have, in order to stay in the fishing, because we're limited by time, you have to have that collective mentality. You know what I mean? We're helping one another build our trip before we even leave the dock. Yeah. But anyway, a 10-day trip is just, it's really the ultimate long range trip. It is, because there's such a variety of opportunities. If fishing for variety is what you're about as an angler, that is the trip for you.
And speaking of Gary at the Iron, see Gary White next Sunday, the docks. He'll be hanging out with us, and we'll be doing a live broadcast next Sunday, 1 week from tomorrow, at Day at the Docks. So
nice.
Cool.
That'll be a big event for everybody. There'll be a lot of fun and excitement for right down there at the San Diego Landings. We'll be in the usual spot right in front of Fisherman's Landing Tackle, which you'll have a lot of tackle stuff available.
Yeah, we're doing inside and a full outside booth. We save a lot of our closeout super killer deals for that, and yeah, I mean we're full speed ahead getting ready for it. Day at the Docks is such a fun day. It's a free day, awesome for the family, and it's just a celebration of sport fishing and the landings, and several boats will be available just to go kind of scope out, the guys that got their maintenance squared away, or some even that are in the process of it. You get to kind of see some of your favorite boats and come down and eat some great food and have a good deal on tackle. It's just a really, really fun time.
Fun day.
A celebration of the landings and what we all like to do.
1 week from tomorrow, Day at the Docks. It's early this year because bluefin bite in April.
Exactly.
It used to always be in April, right? So I can't do it in April,
That's
man.
Exactly
That's why it's early this year.
I was always kind of blown away that Day of Docks, and you go back 20, 30 years. Remember, it was kind of a carnival-like atmosphere. There was anything and everything going on. I think there was even one year it looked like there were hay rides or something. I swear to God, there was. It was like a hay bale. Remember that? It's like, what is this? But now it's a serious fishing event.
It's a celebration of sport fishing.
It
That's
is.
what
It's still fun for everybody. It's a family event, like you said, but it's a hardcore fishing event. All the vendors are there.
You're not going to see slicers and dicers and
there's
that kind of stuff. It's fishing, guys.
And you made it right. I mean, all of the major saltwater players are there. The rod manufacturers, the reel manufacturers, the big tackle displays. It's a real deal thing.
Yeah, for sure. And next Saturday, Hoos is going to be here.
Hey,
Bob Hoos from
right.
Costa, because Costa's there too. Costa
Absolutely
Sunglasses will be there. Hey, I also want to say too that Rollo's going to be there too. Mike Lum and Tim Baker and the whole gang. The whole gang will be there with the biggest used tackle sale they've ever had for Rollo. And this is all funds. All the whole purpose is to raise funds to take kids fishing.
We got to throw a shout out to I know a buddy of yours and often your roommate long range fishing, Eddie Means, came by the tackle store and dropped off a very impressive amount of gear from his past to donate to Friends of Rollo. Yeah. And I mean, just like a really, really cool amount of stuff. And I just think that's such a rad thing for people to do. I mean, it was really good stuff. Eddie's got a lot of great gear, but I mean, there was things like, he's upgraded his Trinidad, so the gold one that he doesn't fish as much anymore, which is still an awesome reel for somebody to get. That's all going into gear like that. Just a bunch of rods and reel and tackle and stuff that everybody's stoked. He cleared a bunch of room out of his garage, and somebody's getting hooked up on some great deals with gear, and all of that money's going to take kids fishing.
Yeah, and I can promise you, Day at Docks is going to be a great day, but one of the premier parts of that is going to be this Rollo used tackle sale. It's going to be huge. Biggest one ever, Mike Lum. Also want to say congratulations to the Bats and Rod winners that raised a lot of funds to take kids fishing, and thank you to all our listeners that participated in that Rollo Bats and Rod thing. John Harris, Blair Clausen, Dave Miklik, Dave Mondaji, Gary White, and Greg Warrens each won one of those beautiful custom bats and rods from Rollo.
That was a really cool promotion.
Yeah, it was a great
Everybody.
promotion. Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, phones are packing up. You want to get through 213-432-1090. Let's jump into it.
Tom in University City's up next on Let's Talk Hookup. What's up, Tom? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you. I have two questions, if you don't mind. First one, I have a half scoop live well on my skiff, and the bait's always way at the bottom. I got to dip my net all the way down to get one. I was just wondering, on a small skiff, what do you do for a bait tray? Or do you put a few in a bucket, or is there some trick to not have to dip the net all the way down to the bottom? Sure.
Well, first thing I'm going to say, if your
Any
bait's at the
insights on
bottom,
that?
you got good bait. The bait is really good if it's sitting on the bottom of that tank. That means when I see the bait, when they load the bait at the Everingham Brothers and I see it go straight down, it's like, yeah, baby, this is good stuff. I mean, there's nothing on a skiff. There's nothing you can do. You just put it in your scoop and just not try to scoop too many of them.
Yeah, I think he might be referring to like a hand well situation like on the Royal Star to make it a little easier for him to grab a bait. But I don't know that. No, I don't know that that's gonna. I don't know that that's gonna help your game. You got any thoughts on that, Alex?
I don't know. It's kind of a hard one there.
Yeah.
Maybe try to build some sort of custom tray and half your bait tank, you can still scoop your bait, but that's a hard one there.
The problem is you put it in a smaller well, it's not going to live as well as it is.
Exactly.
And there's not a lot of room to begin with. I would just worry about taking any of that extra room out of there.
The thing you don't want to do that I see sometimes when people come on my boat is go in there and dig in that net and just scoop up like a whole bunch of sardines and then just leave them sitting there flopping around. Just grab one or two. Be careful at the like you would in a bait well at the Royal Star. You just pick your one and grab one or two and pin them on and go.
You know, I know that's not necessarily Tom's question, but a really good opportunity to talk about that. And it may seem as something so minuscule, but you're right. I mean, bait selection is such a huge thing. If you could say out, like, what is the ideal way to grab a bait out of the tank? And I know, somebody that's been on the boat and fished with you a bunch of times, that may, who cares about that? But if you've never been, it's a different deal. And, you're grabbing baits one at a time. What are you looking for when you're going to the bait? When you're going to the well to grab a bait out, and like what's like A+ proper procedure to do it?
How you hold the bait, at least for me, is how you want to hook it. If you want a shoulder hook, obviously you're going to be holding your sardine a little different, or a butt hook type thing. But you want to take your time, look for the perfect bait. Obviously, no blood or anything like that. So,
what's your favorite way to hook them?
I like shoulder hook.
Shoulder.
Okay. I shoulder hook everything.
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah. Better nose hook, better than butt hook.
To me, yes.
Yeah. Tim, what's your favorite way to hook?
Well, I'm gonna. It really depends on the situation. Like if I want to get a long cast off, as long as possible, I'll actually nose hook a sardine. You can throw the thing like a jig when you hook it in the nose. I mean, you can really whip the thing out there a long way, especially on heavy gear. If you're using 80 or 100 pound, or 130 pound with a bigger reel, you can get some oomph on them. You see fish boiling around the outside, fast bites. If they're hitting that nose hook in a super long cast, that'll get you a lot more bites quickly. If it's a situation where I'm planning on soaking the bait, I like that. It's not a butt hook. It's underneath in a sardine. They have that little set of belly fins, like right in the middle. You just catch that bony plate
just above that
in the middle of them. I like that. I really like that shoulder hook also. It's very effective. I want to say like 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago that seemed to come into play a lot more. I remember Bruce Postumus is one of the first guys that I saw shoulder hooking his baits like that, and it works. It works good. They stay alive forever. It's from a long soak perspective, I think that shoulder hook is way better than the nose hook. The bait seems to live better that way, and you still present on the way in. Going back to the bait selection, I think Alex hit the key point. Take your time.
Yeah.
There's no rush. You know what I mean? We get it, especially when the fish are biting you. You go over there, it's like, you get all wound up and anxious because you want to get that bait on and get out there, or somebody else is,
some guy's looking over your shoulder. You better hurry this up, man. Don't screw this up.
Yeah, it's just like, your time. Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Like, choose a good one and handle it gently. I always used to say, I've said it a million times in seminars, handle your bait like you're holding a baby bird. You don't want to squeeze it or, handle it gently. That way it will present well and be lively when it goes in the water.
That's a good call. Yeah. I appreciate that. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming away. We got more of your phone calls, a lot of great texts coming through. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
Wait for it. Wait for it. The Bart Hall Show at the Long Beach Convention Center, March 29th to April 2nd, known as the granddaddy of them all. All outdoor recreation events since 1946 have been based on this historical show. Join us as we celebrate 75 years of assembling more fishing tackle, boats, marine accessories, quality hunting and fishing lodges, overland displays, and unique outdoor recreation stuff than any other show in California. Kids under 16 free. A full day of family fun. The Kids Fish Free Trout Pond. The Ultimate Air Dogs. The Great American American duck races, Paul Bunyan's lumberjack show, archery, airgun ranges, axe throwing, fly fishing, hundreds of seminars, and so much more. Thanks to our sponsors, Progressive, Accurate, Okuma, Daiwa, Shimano, Fisherman's Landing, Mammoth Lakes, Convict Lake Resort, Costa, Hobie, Rancho Leonero, and Turner's Outdoorsman. The Bart Hall Show, March 29th to April 2nd at the Long Beach Convention Center. Go to hallshows.com. That's hallshows.com.
The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. Hi, this is Doug Kern. Our hardworking crew will make sure your fishing experience is one to remember. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet is second to none. Fisherman's Landing is a full-service operation offering great half-day trips on the Dolphin and full-day open party trips on the spacious and comfortable Liberty. Since we introduced the full-day trips at Fisherman's Landing, the 85-foot Liberty has become a favorite among full-day operations with bunks for your comfort, huge bait capacity, and RSW fish holds to keep your catch fresh. Plus, Liberty has a big modern galley and 2 interior heads with showers. All our open party trips from half-day, full, or 1 to 3 day trips can easily be booked online at fishermanslanding.com or give us a call at 619-221-8500. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
Want to take your catch from fresh to superior grade? This is Robbie Gantt from AFCO. We developed the tools for the EKG process. Circuit Breaker is specially designed to disable the full length of the fish's spinal cord. The memory-resistant wire of AFCO's Circuit Breaker will not bend or kink even after repeated use. Take your fish care to the next level with Circuit Breaker by AFCO. Available at a dealer near you or check out AFCO.com.
Like Robbie said, take your fish care to the next level with Circuit Breaker by AFCO. Check AFCO.com or your favorite tackle retailer.
The lighter the bite and the cleaner the water means one thing. Need a thinner leader for more natural presentations. That's where Seaguar Gold Label leader material shines. It's Seaguar's thinnest leader material yet. That means it's even less visible underwater and creates more natural presentations for better catch rates on leader-shy fish. With exceptional knot and tinsel strength, this advanced leader material is now available from 2-pound test for fishing trout in the Sierra to 80-pound test for big yellowfin in Guadalupe. Get Seaguar Gold Label at your favorite tackle dealer or learn more at seaguar.com.
This is Bob Hoots at Costa Sunglasses. Visual signs are a critical part of my fishing program, from bay bass to bluefin. I wear Costas to see what's out there. Costas are built with advanced polarization technology with our 580 lens, designed to cut through the sun's glare while providing enhanced color to see more fish. Costa was founded by a group of anglers wanting a high-performance lens for every fishing application. Costa has a West Coast style frame and lens for your adventures. CostaSunglasses.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. Hey, want to remind you, this portion of the show is sponsored by our great friends over at Dana Landing on Mission Bay, your one-stop shop for everything that you need to go fishing. A complete saltwater tackle shop, a full deli, all the snacks and beverages, ice and boating supplies, and when it comes to freshwater tackle, check out East County Bait and Tackle and the brand new Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle. Full of all the freshwater tackle and live bait that you need for a great day on the lake. Dana Landing is right across from SeaWorld, next to the lawn tramp in Mission Bay. East County Bait and Tackle, they're at the end of the 67 freeway at Mapleview and Lakeside, and the new Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle on Broadway and Lemon Grove. Check DanaLanding.com for all the info.
Great text here from Larry in Las Vegas. Any plans to go to Mazatlan again?
Well, I wouldn't say no, but in the short term, not really.
Okay.
Guys, we were talking earlier about, the specialty trips and the exploration we did in the past and all of that. I mean, that's like ingrained in us, and especially from an angling perspective, nothing excites me more than going and seeing a new area or scouting something out. At the same time, the economic reality of it is, with fuel, you get up into that $4 or $5 a gallon range, and just the expense of going down there, getting there and getting back, and it really, let's just say it takes a lot of the initiative out of it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, hey, I'd love to be, Christopher Columbus, but if you wind up on the losing end,
it doesn't work out too well.
You just have to.
It was a cool experience.
Epic.
Yeah,
Epic.
and things change. You never know.
Yeah, that's right.
And in the meantime, like you were talking about earlier with the 10-day trips and 8 days, why leave here? When all the fish are right here, right?
It's hard to go 1,000 miles to hopefully catch 150 pounders when there's 150 pounders at 30 miles.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's hard.
It's really as simple as that,
Yeah.
And the other, like I said earlier, it's funny, when I was younger, I think you travel for days and days and days, and where our destination was exotic and it was all cool and fun, and it didn't really even I just kind of rolled with it. Now I don't like traveling now. I'd rather fish. I swear to God,
sure.
I'd rather fish. Like, the more fishing time we can pack into a trip, the happier I am. So it's a lot more satisfying to get down to business right away. Get out there and get down to business, and that's that's the mindset. I talked to you guys before about how we build our schedule. When we sit down and write our schedule out, we all talk about it, but we lay out our schedule as a fisherman.
Right.
I'm not looking at it, on the one hand, I just said, you have to consider business into building your schedule when it comes to exotic trips. But that said, our schedule, it's on paper right now, and looking in the future, we build that schedule as a fisherman. What trip do I want to be fishing on?
Totally.
What trip do I want to drive as a fisherman?
How long do I need to go so I can get to this destination where I think the best fishing is going to be?
Exactly. Where do I think the best fishing opportunity exists? And I want to take advantage of that as the guy driving the boat, because you guys damn well know, we don't want to be out there miserable with nothing to catch. We want to be getting them. That's the whole purpose of that schedule, is setting ourselves up as fishermen and setting our anglers up, in the best possible position to take advantage of the whatever's available.
All right. Yeah, well, 213-432-1090. Open, one line open right now. It's been a busy morning already. There's your chance to get through, get a chance to win that trip on the Liberty.
How cool is that, man? Hey, let's jump back into those phones. Ralph and Menifee's the next one up here on Let's Talk Hookup. Good morning, Ralph.
Hey, good morning, boys. Another great show. I'm super pumped just to get out there now. Question for the guests. On some of the longer range trips, it can run obviously into the several $1,000s. Are there payment options instead of coming out of pocket for the whole thing? And then part two, as everyone's been talking about the fish processing and getting your spot reserved, do you guys already have spots for your anglers reserved, or is that something they still have to do as well?
A couple of great questions.
Okay, so on the fish processing, reserve your spot yourself. You can, when you make your reservation, if you talk with Tracy, she can make a call on your behalf, but you can cut out the middleman and call directly. I know when it comes to fishermen's processing, certainly long range vessels are our first priority in servicing the long range fleet. So you definitely want to make that call in advance. Like, when you make your reservation, the best thing to do is call Fisherman's Processing. That's your second call.
Sean and Melanie were just on the show and made such a great point to what you just said, in that when you make your reservation, you get a text back, you've got some confirmation, you've got a paper trail. Not that anything is going to happen, but just having that sure helps a lot. If you get back to the dock and it just happens to be on a date where there's a bunch of boats coming and they're packed and they don't have reservations for everybody, or they don't have space for everybody, it sure is nice to grab your phone and pull up your text message. Hey, here's my confirmation date. Here I go. I got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. And here's one of the other huge advantages of using Fisherman's Processing on the Royal Star is you basically take the orders on the boat, right, Alex?
Exactly.
Yeah, and tell us how you don't need to meet Sean and Melanie up at the dock. You don't need to touch your fish. Basically, you just grab your rods and go home and go pick up your fish. That's right. Pretty much it. As long as you're using Fisherman's Processing in the Royal Star, then that's the program. That's so smooth and so easy, because there's no old days of dragging fish around, sorting fish, and all that stuff. If you use Fisherman's Processing in the Royal Star, those days are over.
Yeah, we fill out the order forms right on board.
Yeah,
and it is just, it's a dream come true. I mean, we talked about that before too. Awesome. Watching the old days, schlepping fish around at the end of your trip, and you can avoid that whole process.
But you still need to have a reservation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to have that, regardless of whether you're going on a Royal Star trip. You still should call. That way, like you guys said, it's rock solid. It's cement.
Yeah.
I know, and I didn't listen to the show last week. I was busy, but I know we've done a lot in the shop as far as our process goes there to streamline things, and we're going to have more capacity and better ability to deal with that big capacity when it comes in. I think all of us, all the processors learned an awful lot last year, and it's going to be better this year. I'm 100% confident in that. As far as you talked about the payment options, 100% yes. You can work out a payment. You can work out a payment plan with Tracy, but you obviously call her and communicate that with her, and she's very flexible as long as she knows. She's got a bunch of anglers that do that. They send in $100 a month, or,
Right.
and keep it on.
The
account.
base is, you said 50% deposit. That's the base, but you don't necessarily have to do that if you work out an arrangement.
That's
with
exactly
Tracy.
right. If you communicate with her that what trip you want to go on, obviously, and she'll gladly keep an account for you, and
That's so
you
rad.
can send money in
Love that.
on whatever basis works for you.
That's cool. All right. Hey, with that said, we got a great text message coming through. This is, good morning, guys. I'm really looking forward to meeting Alex. My first trip of this season is going to be the end of the May. Last year was my first experience on your boat, and I really appreciated the extremely professional crew on board. My question is this: how many outfits should I bring on a 3-day trip like this? I realize we might be fishing anything from yellowtail to Cal bluefins. That's from Eric and Fallbrook.
That's exactly it. You could be fishing anything. I would suggest bringing whatever you have, your whole arsenal there. That's the correct answer. That time of year, it could be, mostly it's going to be bluefin fishing, obviously, but even that, you still need to bring anything from 20-pound to your 200-pound setup. So I'd say bring what you have, your whole arsenal there.
Bring it all, huh?
Bring it all.
Yeah, you have room on the boat.
We have room. There's plenty of storage space there. Obviously, we accommodate other guys too, but there's really no easy answer to that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because, your bluefin daytime stuff, you need your lighter fly line setups, and for your nighttime, you need your heavier setup. So
at that PCS show, we had a tremendous amount of people this year shopping for their ideal big bluefin setup. This is not a new thing. It's not a flash in the pan. It sure doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. And a lot of people this year were wanting to make an investment in that, whether you call it a heavy sinker rig or just the ideal rig for fishing a knife jig. What's your favorite outfit in hand to get to fish that? Like if you were going to the tackle store right now, going to buy the ideal big fish nighttime bluefin outfit, what does it consist of?
My personal favorite, my personal gear I'm using right now for that setup, United Composite Viper with a Pennant International VSX20. That will be my go-to setup. 100-pound Spectra. Leave a little bit up top, or you can add whatever leader you want. That's be my go-to heavy fish setup.
And 7-foot rod or 7.5-foot rod?
I like the 7.6 Viper. Just a little bit more length. You put it on the rail, you fight fish a little easier in the corner there.
That's awesome.
Speaking of rods, G-Lin must introduce those new rods at the PCS show. Officially, they're going to be available at the tackle stores at the end of this month. Wow, are those beautiful.
They did.
I love the grip,
really nice
and speaking of awesome rail rods and super lightweight, watch for those. They're not cheap, but boy, are they nice.
High-end rods aren't cheap anymore.
Yeah.
They're just not. It's a major investment, but what you're getting out of that is a lifetime of Loomis quality and their warranty. I mean, it always has been and always will be one of the best in the in the biz.
Like CalStar, same kind of thing.
You got
it.
Something that I could add on that gear thing, whether it be a 3-day trip or any trip, because there's so much variety in what you might find. You can narrow down your arsenal because so many of these reels now are versatile.
Multi-duty, sure.
Alex talked about the Talica 20, which we've talked about before. I mean, as far as versatility goes, I don't think there's a reel that covers a broader spectrum. I mean, you can use that thing with 40-pound, you can use it with 130-pound, and everything in between. But you set it up, you could be fishing live bait with that thing during the daytime. You can be fishing, a knife jig or a flat fall with it at nighttime if you've got 100-pound on there. So, what Alex was saying, I don't think he was saying bring 25 rods, and 3 tackle boxes full of stuff. You don't need to do that, but you need to. You can narrow it down to 4 rigs, or that can cover that full spectrum. Because
and adjust your top shot.
That's exactly right. Adjust your top shot.
Another thing, going back to. We talk so much about the ownership team of Royal Star, that meaning that there's always somebody in the boat. The other thing, that the huge advantage of having a team of you and Gerb and Alex and everybody, is there's usually also an owner on the land. So I know it happens all the time when a guy calls and has tackle questions, because that gear can adjust, as the trip gets closer, and you could really narrow gear. You could really narrow your gear down that way. If Alex and Tim are on the boat and you call the office and Gerby's in there, he can always too give you, hey man, our last 2 trips, there was no need for having 15-pound, and there was a whole lot of need for having 130-pound, or vice versa, or whatever it might be.
That's a great point, and we do that all the time. We recommend that all the time. Hey, give us a call.
Yeah.
A day or 2 days before the trip, and
find out exactly what you need to do.
Exactly
Get dialed in. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including checking in with the Catch Report. We'll find out what's biting up and down the beach. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
Shimano has done it again. An amazing lever drag 2-speed reel at an affordable price. It's Speedmaster 2, the extremely durable high-performance Speedmaster 2 with high maximum drag power and a smooth ultra-wide range of drag adjustability is an absolute fish-fighting machine. Its rigid Hagani body prevents misalignment of moving parts under the heaviest loads. Plus, a spare drag cam is included for optimal use with monofilament lines. The Speedmaster is now available in 4 models, 12, 16, 20, and 25. This is the perfect reel for the angler looking for a powerful, lightweight, smooth casting reel for tuna or other powerful saltwater game fish at a more affordable price. Nothing in its class can match the Shimano Speedmaster 2, built to provide high-end performance and dependability in a compact, lightweight frame. Get the Shimano Speedmaster 2 lever drag reel at your local Shimano dealer. Check Shimano.com for all the details.
It's Ford Truck Month, San Diego. Time to get up and get into a new Ford F-150. Part of the F-Series, America's best-selling truck for 46 years straight. And here's some big news. There's a great selection of Ford F-150s in stock and ready for delivery today. So visit your San Diego County Ford dealer and see all the fantastic offers on America's best-selling trucks that are available during Truck Month. They'll be glad to hook you up.
Your vacation bucket list can't be completed without visiting the Katmai Lodge, Alaska this summer. A world-class wilderness fishing paradise on the banks of the famed Alagnak River. Get in the action, fishing for all 5 species of Pacific salmon, king, sockeye, chum, coho, plus trophy-sized rainbow trout, Arctic grayling, and Dolly Varden, both in the Alagnak and nearby waters. Katmai Lodge's Coast Guard and CPR certified guides are fly fishing fanatics and know how to help you reel them in, ensuring your days are fish-filled while you enjoy freshly prepared snacks and barbecued lunches on the river. Back at the lodge, enjoy fireside appetizers and refreshments each afternoon. Delicious dinner prepared by the lodge's exceptional chef. Take a quick fly-out trip to Brooks Falls in Katmai National Park for world-renowned bear watching. And check out our trout fishing specials at katmai.com. That's KATMAI.com. Katmai.com.
Great fishing is what Seaforth Sports Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limits, Elgato Doe, Pride, Polaris Supreme, Tribute, Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or schedule, check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
Hi, I'm Pat McDonald here to tell you that the Hall shows are back. Bart Hall shows February 16th through the 19th at the Del Mar Fairgrounds and March 29th through April 2nd at the Long Beach Convention Center. Share the passion of outdoor recreation as we celebrate 75 years of Hall Show's family fun.